Okay, here we are. We're going to do 2-5, and we're working with applications of equations, and we stopped here at the formulas. That's where we left off at the last video, going over these formulas. So now, seems like there was something before this. Let me look and see. Is there something before this? No. Okay, we're going to go with the formulas. All right, so formulas are just equations and they all have variables. And then we use formulas over and over again with different situations. So in this particular problem, we have a formula. I'm going to highlight the formula. This is the formula. Oh, that's not a highlight. Let's undo that. Oh, goodness, it didn't like that. So let's highlight my formula. Okay, this one is the formula. All right, and then the problem says P is 10, A equal 4, C equal 2, solve for B. So this time we put the numbers that we were given into our formula, and it says P is 10. So underneath the P, I'm going to put a 10, copy down the equal. A equal 4, so I'm going to put the 4 here. C equal 2, so I'm going to put the 2 here, and I'm going to solve for the B. Now, if you remember when I first taught you how to solve, I said, when it says solve for the designated variable, here we are, I'm solving for the designated one, because there's a lot of variables here, and I'm solving for B. So when it says solve for B, I need it to say B equals blank or blank equal B. And so that's what my job is to do, and we know how to do this. Our first step is basically the same as it always is. Simplify each side of the equal sign first. So if I look, I have 10 on the left, can't simplify it, but on the right I can do 4 plus 2 and get 6. So I have B plus 6. So I simplified, and now I subtract 6 on both sides, and that's gone, and I get B is 4. And that's my answer. It fits that pattern, and that's fine. It doesn't have to fit the other one. I get B is 4. Okay, next problem, we have another formula. This formula is the formula for the area of a trapezoid. You may not know what a trapezoid is, and you may not care, but that's what this is. This is a formula for the area of a trapezoid. Okay, and so now that's our formula, and then we have numbers, and we're told to find the A. Right, so we're going to put our numbers in the blanks. So this first one we have H is 22. So there's going to be a 22 right there. Lowercase b is 21. And uppercase B is 25. And it wants us to find A. Well, fortunately, guess what? All we have to do is simplify, because we don't have any variables on the right. On the right, all we have is numbers. So we just need to simplify this. Using our order of operations is going to be the easiest way to do it. And so I'm going to do the inside the parentheses first. And so that's going to be 46. And if you don't realize this, maybe I should say this again. This is all three numbers multiplied together. And so half times 46 is also half of 46. So half of 46 is 23. And then 23 times 22, I can do my scratch work because I don't have a calculator, is 506. So I hope that's right. A is equal to 506. Okay, here we go. All right, now this next one is another formula, and this one has another variable in here. It's really not a variable, but it has another symbol in here you might not be familiar with. This one is circumference, and that second little squiggle thing is known as pi. It's a Greek letter, and it represents a number that is a constant. It's not a variable, but that's okay. We don't need to know what it is in this particular problem. So it says C is 8 pi, so I'm going to replace this with 8 pi, and I'm solving for r. Remember, this is multiply. When you have three things lined up together, that's multiply. And so I have to get r by itself. I can't simplify. I just have to get r by itself. Now, sometimes we need to make an easier problem over in your scratch work to see if you can make it make sense. That pi is messing me up. Say I had 84 is equal to 24r. How would I solve that? Well, my gut would say divide by 24 on both sides. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide both sides by this 2 pi. I don't completely understand the 2 pi, but that gets my r by itself, which is what I'm trying to do. Remember, it says solve for r, so that means make it say r equal blank or blank equal r, and so I got the r. Now, what is this 8 pi divided by 2 pi? Well, just remember we talked about this before. Pi over pi, that's 1, or they cancel out. And 8 over 2, well, that's just 4. That's 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my answer is just 4. R is 4. Don't make it harder than it is. Okay, one more. So this formula, D equal RT, again, remember that's R times T. D is 120, so I'm going to put that in here. T is 24, so I have R times 24, and I'm solving for R. Again, it looks different, but again, if you need to take it to your scratch and rewrite it, 24 times R is the same as R times 24. And I'm going to divide by 24 on both sides. This is 1, and there we go. I have R by itself. And now I do 120 divided by 24, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 5, 6, 5. I'm going to have to do it. I think it's 5. It's 5. There we go. So R is 5. Okay, so that's those formulas. Okay, so now one of the most popular formulas and concepts that we deal with is perimeter and area. All right, so let's talk about what perimeter's area are real quick. Perimeter is the distance around an object. Okay, this is like it's measured in inches or centimeters or meters or miles. Okay, it's like a line. It's a line measurement. Okay, a perimeter represents like the length of a line. It's a two-dimensional. Area, well, I guess lines, never mind. It's one-dimensional. But anyway, whatever. Area is the space inside an object. Okay, and this is measured in squares. It's measured in what we call square inches, also known as inch to the second power, or square miles, or miles to the second power, okay? Because we're measuring squares, the number of squares, literally. So that would have an area of 3 squares. 3 squares. 3 square centimeters, we'll call that one, okay? Because that has 3 squares, all right? And that's area. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is these concepts up here. Are they asking for perimeter? Or are they asking for area? Okay, so now if you are measuring fertilizer, if you're spreading fertilizer over a field, okay, this is complete flat surface. This is space. This would be area. If you're putting crown molding up, that's kind of like a line. Crown molding is the little piece of wood that goes around the top of your classroom, the top of your room in your home. You could also have floor molding. It goes around the floor of the room. This is a perimeter. If you're putting a belt around your waist, it's kind of like a line. So this is perimeter. But if you're measuring the glass tabletop, you're measuring how much total glass you're purchasing. Right? Now you might need to know the perimeter, but if you're going to measure the glass, you've got to know the area. You've got to know how much glass you're going to purchase. So that would be space. That would be area. And same thing with carpet. If you're going to put carpet down, you got to know the space. It's going to be measured in squares. So this one's area. Okay, so now we've got some serious word problems to do in the next video, the last video. Here they are, straight out of your homework. We're going to jump into those on the next one. It's just math.